First of all, it's a very segregated area, and most people don't know that it's there, I think, down that hill. But it's clearly separated from everything else, surrounded on most sides by woods, I think, which makes it, sort of not a part of the community. And then it's just a bunch of rundown trailers. The people are just hanging on by their fingernails. It's a sad place.
Farmville, Virginia is located in Prince Edward County in south central Virginia. It's a small town with big history. Barbara Johns was a 15-year-old Virginia high school student who launched a protest that ultimately reached the U.S. Supreme Court as part of Brown v. Board of Education. For 5 years, the public schools in Prince Edward County, Virginia simply shut down because they refused to mix black and white students. About 1,700 black and lower-income white students tried to find schooling elsewhere or stayed home. In 1954, Brown v. Board of Education was passed and deemed separate but equal unconstitutional. Virginia officials first ignored the Supreme Court's ruling against segregation. When forced to integrate, it adopted a strategy of massive resistance, closing all of its schools. Those children without an option for education became what is now called the crippled generation. The resistance finally came to an end in 1964. Now in Farmville stands a mural that commemorates the events that took place. Because of the large education gap in South Central Virginia, up to 22% of adults do not have the ability to read basic prose literature. This is lower than the statewide statistic. Not having literacy abilities makes getting a job and supporting a family very difficult.
Let's see, the clients line up out there and come through that far door. They come around the desk. They show their card. Their card is checked off and put into the computer, and then a basket is wheeled. One of these grocery carts is wheeled here. The bags are here, and the person at the desk shouts out the number of bags. Those are put into the cart and taken out to the parking lot. We buy most of our food from the Central Virginia Food Bank, and on Thursday they send a truck out. We make an order on Monday. They deliver that order on Thursday, and we have a crew here on Thursday morning to receive it and sort it, and then they pack a truck that goes to our other location, which is on County Line Road, contiguous to Charlotte County. And they distribute, maybe they have 300 families, something like that. So they do a lot. We pack up the truck and send their portion down to them, and then we store our portion in the freezers and in the back here. We do deliveries to shut-ins, people who aren't mobile. They're mostly older people, but also some of the people who live in the low-income housing for disabled people. We have found it important to screen. We used not to take that very seriously, but there were abuses, and we want to get the food to the people who really need it. And in order to do that, we do ask people once a year to register. And to register, they have to qualify, they have to live within the zip codes that we serve. They have to demonstrate financial need. And they can do that by, if they receive food stamps, for instance, they automatically qualify. If they receive temporary assistance to needy families, they automatically qualify. If they don't have that documentation, then they need to bring in a pay stub or something that shows their monthly income. And as I told you yesterday, we serve families with up to 150% of the federal poverty level, which is not a lot.
I got prostate cancer, bone cancer, and lung cancer. And I was working at the college, I was working at Longwood, and when I left Longwood, I only had 6 months to live, and then I wasn't making that much of money now, and and this really helps a lot. Yeah, it helps a lot. I don't get that much in food stamps, so I don't get that much money, so by the time I spend my money on my bills, I still have to take a few dollars to still buy food. And when I stopped working, I only had six months to live. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
5 years ago. And right now, they still saying I'm still looking pretty good, though, but eventually it's gonna get me.
It's still, still high poverty, relatively high unemployment. Unemployment during the recession was about 10%. I think it's drifted down to maybe 7 now. But it's a very difficult place for young people to find a job. And I know that many of the counselors out at the school, I've heard counsel young people to leave the area. You need to go somewhere where the action is, somewhere where you can get a good job. For one thing, Prince Edward's history, people always cite that, but there was a generation where they closed the schools, and I know people who either went to other areas, other states even, or just didn't go to school, including the current chair of the school board. But that's a long time ago, and I think we've come a long ways since then.